right, just like that, a very pleasant good evening, and welcome to your favorite Monday show, known as the Ultimate Hockey Show. I'm just assuming it's your favorite, and you're giving us an hour of your time. If you're just here to support us, either way, we appreciate it. Welcome to the Ultimate Hockey Show. We're back for a second week after being away for a month because of scheduling commitment. Rhett, by the way, can we just get this out of the way before we start? I love your sweater.
Uh, I should hide that if it because this is not the ultimate Winnipeg Jets hockey show.
No,
This is the ultimate hockey show.
no,
Shouldn't,
no,
shouldn't
no.
show.
I love your sweater, and for context, I heard a rumor through the grapevine that that logo might be making a return for a certain outdoor game, which we're going to talk about
Oh, okay.
in just a little bit. I forgot to mention it last week. Um, boy, Rhett, we go away for a week, and nothing happens, right?
Oh yeah.
I mean, it's kind of funny, right? I mean, the
Yeah.
Oilers supposedly didn't upgrade in goal. Quinn Hughes moves. General manager gets fired today. Good evening, Rob. Welcome. Thank you for tuning in. I know you were harping on the inbox. Hey, when's the show? When's the show? I'm assuming you have a lot of opinions, but you'd like to get out into the open as well. Um, this is one of those where I know I said we talked about the Olympic hockey team. That is not going to happen given the news of what has happened with the Winnipeg Jets and the NHL as a whole. We're going to shelf that probably for another 2 weeks so we have something to talk about over Christmas when there's not a lot of hockey games to talk about. But let's start with the news of the week, and I think it's not even Winnipeg Jets related. I'm getting ready for a broadcast on Friday night at Seven Oaks Arena after driving around the water main break on North Main, which was another whole story in itself.
Yep.
I'm sitting down looking at my game notes, and I get a text message from a friend of the show, shall we say. I'll call him CK for now. And he said to me, Quinn Hughes to Minnesota. And it was in capital letters, and all there was wow. And then he sent me the trade description right after.
Yeah.
Oh boy, do we have a bit to go through. Azine Belam Oram, the center, his first name escapes me, a first rounder this year, and Marco Rossi, a center in exchange. So they all wanted the Vancouver Canucks in exchange for one Quinn Hughes. This coming a few days after. And honestly, Rich, I think we should have seen the writing on the wall as soon as Adam Foote said this. The Quinn Hughes, Willie or won't he, and I'm paraphrasing, might be weighing on the locker room. Your thoughts?
Yeah. Yeah. I am. What's the word? I'm. You know what? In a lot of ways, I don't know if you felt this, but
Mm-hmm.
for me, in a lot of ways, it reminds me of the it reminds me of what the Jets had to do with the Jacob Trouba, although it wasn't in the same way a sign and trade, or I guess they did trade him, and then I believe the Rangers then signed him afterwards. But anyway, very similar, where the player says, "I'm not going to commit to signing long term with you," and you've got now a player. He's getting near UFA status. What are you going to do, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
just think it's Minnesota was up against the wall, just like the Jets were with Trouba, and yet the Jets did pretty good, I would say, with what they ended up getting back for Trouba. And
I think you mean Vancouver instead of Minnesota.
no, I'm talking about what the Jets got. I'm talking first of
Oh, yeah. Okay,
all
okay.
Jets and the Jacob Trouba. So I'm
Okay,
saying
okay.
just
Yeah.
like the Jets got back something that
Mm-hmm.
was pretty good, all things considered, getting
Mm-hmm.
back from New York Rangers when they traded Trouba. I think it's the same thing for Vancouver. I think, um, yeah, like it's hard because you get four players for one, right? Or three
Right.
players and a pick, which will turn out most likely to be
Right.
too for a player, but he's a very good player, right? So he immediately injects something into the Wild lineup. But the other four guys, including the pick that hasn't been yet, but Rossi, Ogren, and Buyum, I'm not sure exactly how to pronounce it.
Yep.
Buyum, they're all first rounders. Rossi from 2020, Ogren from 2022, and Buyum from 2024. They're all first rounders. Plus, so in essence, the Wild traded four
first round picks.
First rounders for Hughes. Now, to what degree Rossi, Ogren, and Buyum, plus the first rounder that they haven't used yet, how that will all play out, wait to be seen. But Rossi's a good player. He'll give you, he's like a second line guy. He's going to give you 50 to 60 points a year. They're playing him first line center. I think he's a little too small to be first line center, but a really good second line center. 50 to 60 points. He's good on the power play. He's offensively creative. I don't know enough about Ogren. I think he played on the fourth line. I think he's kind of a defensive guy, a little bit more of a checker and a plugger and kills penalties. Okay, great, at least for now. But to me, the sweetheart in the deal is Buyum, because all I hear is talking about this kid has just got like the whole world in front of him. And what's interesting is in so many ways, he's a lot like Hughes. He's an offensive defenseman. He's a puck mover. He's a creator. He, he plays great defense by moving the puck out of his zone very quickly and making a really good first pass out of the zone. And that's who Hughes is. And he's a good skater. So is it, in some ways, it's almost like Wilder saying, we can't wait another 5 to 7 years for Buyum to be who Hughes is now, right? We want Hughes now because our core is good now, right? With all the guys they have. And
especially Kaprizov went from whatever he's making now to $14 million next year.
Yeah. So just very interesting. Like, I think in the long run, I honestly believe the Canucks are going to be the winners in this trade. I know people have a hard time believing that, but especially like what happens if the Wild, they can't get Hughes signed. So they're going to try. So they're going to have him here now because they got him for a year and a half. So they're going to have a half-year experiment, a little bit more than a half year from now until the end of this season into 2026. They're going to have all the off season to talk with him, make him a big pitch. But if I'm Bill Guerin and I cannot get him signed to, a multiple year contract into his UFA years next summer, I got to trade him. I got to trade him before training camp because I still got to get something for him. And what's interesting, I don't know if you heard about this. They were talking to both New Jersey and to the Wild. New Jersey was at play because he wants to play with his brothers. Ultimately, one day he does. But he becomes less like the nearer he gets to UFA, the closer he can get to the point to say, I got to choose where I want to go. I'm going to go to New Jersey. Right now, New Jersey wasn't able to make the salary cap work. They couldn't move enough guys out. They couldn't get Vancouver to take enough salary back or enough players with salary that are high quality back. And so Vancouver said, no, thank you. So will that change in the offseason? Will New Jersey, maybe losing a couple of UFAs at the end of this year or some other things, then free up enough space on their salary cap to be able to offer Hughes a contract and be able to actually acquire him in a trade from the Wild if he's intent on not signing with the Wild? It's an interesting dynamic, right? It's this whole UFA, the guy's in control. What are you going to do? You don't want to let a guy like that just walk for nothing in my mind.
Right.
So
I have two things on that. One, I don't think Bill Guerin makes the trade unless he thinks he has a true shot at re-signing Quinn Hughes. I think Bill Guerin and Quinn Hughes know each other from their time with Team USA in various capacities. And if you're Vancouver, I think you owe it to yourself to go out and make the best trade possible. Now, it sounds like Dawson Mercer and Simon Nemec were part of the package according to Sportsnet's Elliot Friedman, but again, that's not enough to get it done. I have to just wonder, how much is him playing with his brothers actually on his mind? Or is that just it would be nice, right?
Yeah.
And to be fair, Minnesota came in. They gave up what I would wholeheartedly agree with your assessment. A fourth line center right now, who is a former first rounder, a second line center, Marco Rossi, and I would probably suggest to you a very strong top 4D within time.
Maybe even a
I
top
think
2 pair.
maybe, but
Yeah.
I'm being conservative and saying top 4.
Yep.
I know there was a lot of hype about Bealham when he signed. I think it was last year and went right into the playoffs, as I recall.
Yep.
This is a trade that, honestly, in my mind, Rick, we don't see that often anymore. This is
No.
what we call a hockey trade that benefits both sides based on where both sides are at this present moment,
Yep. I would agree.
which is Minnesota going for a Stanley Cup. They've now said to Colorado and Dallas, your move, please. If you
Yeah.
think you're going to win this division, this is what we have to offer. See what you can do at the trade deadline and moving forward. And I think that the Wild Stanley Cup window is wide open, and they weren't going to sit back and do nothing.
Yeah.
And if this is preemptive strike, number one, look out, and we'll see what happens. I'm bullish on the Wild. I think their Stanley Cup window is open. It can be debatable whether you're beating Colorado or not. I don't know. I will say this.
Yeah.
Remember when Boston had that record regular season and how that went in the first round?
How about the Jets last year? Have we forgotten?
So again, right? It's positioning yourself to be the best team possible. When the chips fall where they may. Now, I like this trade for a magnitude of reasons, and I think if you can get Quinn Hughes to a contract extension this summer, it's a no-brainer. And I think if you're Minnesota, you also made this deal to get ahead of the pack and give yourself a chance to sign him. Is it a steep price? Yes. Are you getting a good defenseman? Yes. Good trade for both sides. More, please.
Yeah. And more, I would agree, more value for Minnesota up front, long term. I think,
but that's where they are. They're in their Stanley Cup window now.
More
Vancouver
value
doesn't necessarily need the right now aspect because they're rebuilding. Let's face it, this says rebuild, whether they like to admit it or not.
Yeah.
The only other thing, Rich, but if we could talk about this for just 1 minute, is how far Vancouver has fallen. Let's not forget they're 2 years away, 2 years out, from taking Edmonton to Game 7 in the second round and thinking, oh, that window is wide open. Pedersen at a high level. Myers a respectable, second or third line D. JT Miller thriving. Dr. Demko at the top of his game.
Mm-hmm.
Where's all that gone now in 2 short years?
Yeah. It's not the same team anymore, for sure.
Nope.
You're right.
Nope. Ego has gotten in the way. Somebody said to me very well, put it to me very succinctly, personalities got in the way, and this is what you get.
Yeah.
And now, all of a sudden, I find it, excuse me, a little bit ironic that, Elias Pettersson is the one that goes to IR after they activate Marco Rossi. But again, it's...
Yeah, but that was coincidence. That's not... One doesn't equal the other. It's just coincidence.
Right. Yeah. It's coincidence, but you can't help but think it because you paid the guy a lot of money and he hasn't produced to the money.
Yep.
I think it would be fair. Another trade that, speaking of hockey trade, that is in my mind the furthest from a hockey trade is what the Oilers did with the Penguins. I'm sitting here 3 days later, Rhett, still trying to figure out how this makes the Oilers a better team.
Why?
Just because there's Tristan Jarry that much of an upgrade over Stuart Skinner based on Jarry's big game track record?
Okay, but if you look at some of the stats, some of the numbers, because I heard the argument online. I saw it, or I heard it. I saw it and read it and whatever. And even on TV, you guys are talking. Stuart Skinner has way more playoff experience. Okay. He's gone to 2 Stanley Cup finals, 50 playoff games in the last 2 years, or plus 50 in his career. And Jari's got a handful. I don't know, 5, 10, whatever it is. It's not comparable. But excuse me, in terms of games that matter, games that are played in the NHL, Jari's stats are way better than Skinner's. And that's not just like goals against average, but the stats that that reflect more so on the goalie than on anything else, like save percentage, allowing rebounds, rebound control, rebounds to the slot, or expected saves on high level chances, like all those percentages. He's steps above Skinner in every one. To me, Edmonton had to do something. Like they're not going to go into now this year and now push to get to plus go again for a third time and try to make it the Stanley Cup final. They're going to have to go past probably Colorado or the Stars or Minnesota, whoever it is that comes out of the Central, or even the Jets for that matter. Let's put it out there. But anyway, they're going to have to go through that.
Likely Colorado.
Pardon?
Likely Colorado.
Well, it was likely the Jets last year. That didn't happen. So I'm just saying.
True.
Anyway, all that to say, they got to go through it. They're not going to do that with Skinner. They can't just go the same way. And it's too up and down. It's too Jarry. The one thing about you say, oh, he's not a superstar. Okay, he's not Vasilevsky. He's not Hellebuck. Well, the Lightning aren't trading Vasilevsky, and the Jets aren't trading Hellebuck, and the Panthers aren't trading Bobrovsky. So you're going to have to go fishing off a different dock if you want to find a goalie. And so what do you got to do? You got to find out what's out there at the next level and who can you leverage. Jarry's an Edmonton guy. He loves Edmonton. He loves Canada. He's got a huge ranch. I think he's an Edmonton kid. He played junior at Edmonton. He's got a huge acreage that he spends all his summers in Edmonton area or just north of it, whatever it is. It's
Pinty said Sherwood Park.
Pardon?
Pinty said Sherwood Park.
Yeah. I don't know Edmonton that well. All I'm saying is from a life fit, from a guy like as opposed to bringing in an American from whatever, and he says, I don't want to go to Edmonton and play up in North. Jarry wants to be there. He wants to be an Oiler. Gets to play in front of gets to play behind McDavid and Draisaitl and company. I think this is such a win for the Oilers. So many people said, oh, it's a lateral. It's going from Skinner to Jarry. That's like 6 of one, half dozen of the other. I don't agree. I think Jarry's better. And the one thing about Jarry doesn't have to be Hellebuck, in my opinion. You can retort in a moment, but I don't think Jarry has to be Hellebuck or Vasilevsky or you name your goalie or Bobrovsky, whoever. He just has to be Jarry. And you know what Jarry is more than anything else? He is consistent. You are going to get the same guy game in, game out. He's not a superstar, but you're going to get good quality goaltending and consistent, solid goals. And that's all you need. For Edmonton, they score enough goals. They do enough. They just need an important save here or there to maintain the game, keep it close, and they'll outscore their opponents. And Skinner could not consistently provide that enough. Sometimes he looked like a world beater, and sometimes he looked like a guy that's out there on Friday afternoons at senior hockey who playing, whatever with a whole bunch of buddies. So it's just not consistent enough. And Jarry gives you that. And you don't have to spend that much to give up. Yeah, you have to give up Kulak. Okay. You gave up Kulak. Now you brought in the other kid. You brought in the kid from Nashville.
Yeah.
Stastny, I think. There.
Spencer Stastny, yeah.
So I don't know. That's my opinion. But you think it's a wash? Like you traded a guy away to get the same guy in return and you have to give up the Kulak in the process or what?
I love the Kulak for Stastny swap out. You give up a lot of experience for a guy that's younger. I'm just not sure how much further ahead Tristan Jarry gets you. There's a reason the Penguins moved on from him so easily.
It is a little bit intriguing, right? And he's still got contract that he's got this year and
he's got this year plus 2 more. So
yeah, this year plus 2 more. And
I mean, for Edmonton, you basically get him for 3 runs. This one and 2 more, whereas whereas Skinner was a UFA this year. I can understand that whole
Yep.
sort of changeover, but it'll be very interesting. I'm just not convinced the Oilers lost Game 7 because of Stuart Skinner.
I don't think it's so much even games. I think it's this year. There hasn't been enough consistency in their net. There hasn't been enough
That's fair.
consistent. Pardon?
That's fair, but I mean, if you want to dip back, to me, that team hasn't undergone a sizable enough upgrade for me to put them in the Stanley Cup final.
Well, we'll see.
We'll see. We'll see. I mean, I think we said that. I think we said that when. I think we said that when. I think we said that last year. The Oilers were done, and then all of a sudden they don't want to run and they beat Dallas, and away they are in the Stanley Cup final. Eric makes a good point here. Don't forget the Penguins detour is old. Edmonton isn't much better, but Jarry has taken over games before.
Yep.
Yeah. To me, this whole thing is, how does this play out in the playoffs? And I'm not sure how that's going to play out just yet. To me, the whole NHL minus Dallas and minus Colorado, to me, it's just a bunch of average teams. Up and down the standings, I think it's pretty wide open still. I think Dallas and Colorado are going to make the playoffs, and you can put the Jets beside their name figuratively now.
Yeah.
And we'll see what happens down the stretch. Oilers, to their credit, have been playing much better last night, notwithstanding, where they believe they lost to the Montreal Canadiens. Yeah, they did. But again, or did they beat the Montreal Canadiens? I can't remember.
No. They beat Leafs and then they lost to Montreal. They played.
Okay, yeah. Okay, you're right. Montreal then lost in overtime to the Rangers on Saturday, and then came back and beat Edmonton. So,
yeah.
But I mean, we could get the Montreal's goaltending. I think they had a massive upgrade in Jacob Fowler. I think he's a lot better than Dovish and Martinbo for sure. But
we'll see. But he's a rookie. You don't know. You're in uncharted water. A guy could come as a rookie and play lights out like Ken Dryden back in the day and lead you to a bunch of Stanley Cups, or he could play great for a week or two and then guys figure him out. Oh, he's got a weak hand. His glove hand doesn't come up fast enough. You can beat him high to glove hand, and suddenly, boom, he's lost 5-7 games in a row. I'm just saying, don't put all your chips in on this rookie. That great Montreal's gone through a goal. Well, think about, look how many goalies Montreal's gone through in the last year and a half or 2 years as compared to the Jets. Jets have Hellebuck.
They haven't necessarily found that goaltender Secretary.
They just gone through guys. Yep. So
I mean, it's interesting. And now it says playoff wise, the Pacific Division is weak, so the Oilers could have an easy road to a deep playoff run.
Well,
I don't know about that.
They got to beat. They're gonna have to beat Anaheim, San Jose, and Vegas.
Yeah.
So I don't know if. Yeah. Well, we'll see.
As we come to learn, I don't think there's an easy road in any playoff bracket.
This could very well be the year. I know we've talked about it for the last few years. When are those young teams going to rise up? And we're still waiting on the Sabres. I mean, they had to make a general manager change because it was just bad. There were 5 games.
We'll get to that in just a second.
But those teams like San Jose and Anaheim, wow, they're on the rise. They are, and also a Utah young team. So younger, not completely, but
Actually, I have a comment here. Eric says LA. I have a real big issue with LA.
In what way?
To me, they're a playoff team, but not much more.
They're a playoff team, but not much more. Okay, well, why do you say that? Because you don't think they can compete with the big boys?
Mind you, they lost 2 years in a row to the Oilers, and 1 year was completely their own doing last year. I just don't know, like, Ajay Kopitar's not getting any younger. He's retiring. Their D is a little bit older. I don't know. It's just interesting. I just This is just my own opinion on the LA team. I thought we would have seen more from them in the playoffs by now. But when you lose 2 years in a row to the Western Conference champions, does that change your calculus a little bit? I don't know.
Yeah.
And Eric saying, mark my words, Chicago is coming. Well, we'll see what happens without Connor Bedard.
Yeah, let's see how they do without Bedard. Like, yeah.
I hate to toot the Winnipeg Jets horn right now, but with Connor Hellebuck back in the lineup, any semblance of consistency, I think the Winnipeg Jets can grab a wild card. And then we'll see what happens. I don't have any expectations beyond a wild card, but there is no reason why the Winnipeg Jets is currently constructed with cannot grab a wild card. We'll get to the Jets this week in just a minute. We want to talk about the Sabres. Finally moving on from General Manager Kevin Adams today, hiring former Columbus Blue Jacket and current in-house advisor to the general manager, Jarmo Petalainen, as their new general manager. Overdue?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you have to. You have to do something to change it up, right? That's what teams have to, like the Oilers did on goalie. You can't keep losing and not changing things up. But how long has Adams been general manager?
A while.
A while?
Yep.
Has it been more than 3 years?
I believe so, yes.
Okay, then it's fair. Okay, that's right, because he's gone through a bunch of coaches. That's what it is. Yeah, and now they've gotten rid of him. Yeah, but it's the problem is, Michael, if you look at that roster, and again, who's head coach? It's Lindsey Ruff, right? No,
Lindsey Ruff. Yep.
Yeah, veteran coach. He knows how to coach. He won a Stanley Cup. Mm-hmm. I'm pretty sure he won a Stanley Cup, but he knows how to coach. He's taken teams deep into the playoffs for 20, 30 years. He knows the game. He knows all this. The players are there. They've got quality players. They've got 3 stud defensemen in Bynum, Dahlin, and Power. Like they got class forwards and Thompson and Alex Tuch. You just go through that lineup and they got guys that can score. They got defensive guys. They got defensive defensemen. They got offensive. They got puck movers. I don't know about their goaltending. I'm not sure where it's at with that. But I'm saying that team has a ton of talent, but they don't win. And it just happens year after year. And then they tank, and then they get they get a first round, high-level first round draft pick
or something.
What's that?
Or they did a second overall pick, and away we go.
But I just think they had high draft picks in each round because they're the worst team, so they're going to pick first in the second round and first in the third round. So they're getting high-level picks year after year after year. They get great players, or you think they're great players, but yet they don't come together and they don't win games. I can't figure out. They've changed coaches. They've changed general managers. Is it the jersey, or is it playing in Buffalo? Does that whole city have a stain that you got to relocate the team? I don't know. The Sabres back in the 70s were a very good hockey team. They
were very good when I was a kid too.
Yeah, and in the 90s they were good too, but they were really good in the 70s. They challenged the Flyers when the Flyers, the Broad Street Bullies there, they won the Stanley Cups. They were always up against the Sabres. It was the Sabres were the ones that were giving them the most trouble, and they were right there. Went to 7 games, 6 games, tough games. I remember as a kid watching that. So I'm just saying it's not the jersey. I'm actually joking. It's not the jersey. It's not the town, but I can't figure it out. And Kevin Adams, he's a hockey guy. He's not a dummy. They drafted Owen Power's a good pick.
Good one.
Shovel Dayoff, if he had the first pick overall, he would have picked Owen Power. I'm just thinking they're not bad picks. I don't get getting the trade for Tage Thompson. Great trade. Getting Alex Tuch for Jack Eichel when he went the other way. Great trade. Those are great players, but I just can't figure it out. The Sabres, they just and as an owner, you can't keep letting the general manager tell you it's the coach. It's the coach. Like that song.
Yeah, he's fired. He's had 4 different coaches in 5 years now.
There you go. That song only, I'm surprised it was that many, because most coach or most general managers, they don't get the chance to fire 4 coaches in 5 years. That's that owner has a lot of patience, because most owners, that's 2, maybe 3. And then it's like, okay, I got to fire somebody at a higher level because I'm getting sold a bill of goods and it's not panning out. But I'm just saying, what do you got to do as an owner? You're frustrated because you got great players. You want to sell out. You want to be competitive, and you can't be. I can't figure it out in Buffalo. I honestly can't.
Is it the owner?
The owner doesn't. Yeah, the owner doesn't get involved. I think he's pretty quiet. He's not overly involved.
I mean, he's too busy with that football team trying to win Josh Allen a Super Bowl. Never mind.
There you go, right? And he's got good players. I mean, Kevin Adams a hockey guy. Kekalainen's a hockey guy. He consulted. Now he's going to be general manager. He was in Columbus before. I'm just saying these aren't dummies. I just can't. And it's the general managers don't make the players play. There's something, I think it's the art of drafting. I mean, I'd pick Owen Power too. I'd pick him. But you got to draft guys that not just that are talented, but they got, it's something. I don't know. We've talked about that before. That's something like a JT Miller. Like they're never satisfied. They're always pushing, always want to be better, always driving their teammates to be better, never settling for losing, never being happy and comfortable. When I hear a player say, I heard this once, I'm not sure if it was, maybe it was JT Miller, and a guy said, I hate losing more than I love winning. I said, that guy, I want him on my team. That's a guy you want is. Oh, look, a Cowboys fan talking about a Super Bowl.
Yes, sir.
No, it wasn't Jimmy Johnson. Jimmy Johnson never said that.
My counter argument to that is, how are those Vikings doing?
Yeah, I know. Well, they look terrible.
The same fate yesterday, win or loss.
But anyway, my point is, I can't figure it out. If somebody could figure it out, they could be hired as general manager for the Sabres or head coach, because they've gone through a ton of coaches and now another general manager, and they still can't figure it out.
So, listen, I don't think Lindy Ruff is a dum-dum who doesn't know how to coach.
That's what I'm saying. So what is it?
I don't know. One thing we do know, Connor Hellebuyck is back, and the Winnipeg Jets look like the Winnipeg Jets of old for a night.
They do. Or they did one game.
Can you figure it out?
Well, honestly, I think there is something to this. And the players, I'm going to throw it out there and I'll see what folks think. This is what I think, because I had this too. I played some organized sports when I was younger, soccer too, and hockey. And I could tell you, you're only as good as your weakest players that are on the field or on the pitch or on the ice. And so I'm just saying, for example, in soccer, I played on a team, we had really good players, and then we had some injuries, and we had to start 2 guys out of 10 on the pitch plus the goalie, but 2 guys on the field that were not at the same level as everybody else. They were subpar players. So what happens? Now I can't play in my position and the other 8 guys that are with me on the pitch there, other than the goalie. We can't play as aggressively the way we normally do because, we got to worry about, I'll just say Joe and John, because Joe and John are a little bit weaker. So I can't go up field. I got to kind of cover them. I got to play a little bit differently to be more defensive so we don't get burned and we don't get a goal scored against us or whatever. And I think that happens with me playing organized soccer as a young guy. And it happens in the NHL. It happens at the highest level to the lowest level. Is teams, they're not going to come out and say, yeah, you're covering for so-and-so because we don't have that much confidence in them. You just naturally don't. And I think the Jets, they didn't push up the ice. Comrie, especially with Milic, maybe they don't play that. They just say, we got to be careful for Eric. We can't have him exposed to too many shots. We can't, with Hellebuyck, you go and you just play because Helly's going to be there. We could push up the ice. There's a puck that squirts in the neutral zone. Yeah. Morrissey or Pion could say, I'm going to jump in there and go and make a 3-on-2 or a 4-2, because if we don't score, we can hustle back and Helly can still make a great save. But maybe you don't jump in and you get that puck in the neutral zone or whatever, it squirts out and you jump in, you kind of hesitate and you stay back, because I want to be defensively minded. I want to cover my team. I want to be good for my goalie. And they're not going to say, well, Comrie's not as good as Hellebuck. They're not going to say that because they're teammates and they like each other. But it's there. It's in the back of your mind. And I think that's there. The Jets, they just don't play the same way with confidence with somebody else as they do with Hellebuck. And then that rolls out. You got 19, 20 guys that rolls out shift after shift. And then you don't see a team playing the same way. So that's what I think it is, in my opinion. I could be wrong.
No, do you subscribe to the theory though that the Jets have played well in 3 of the last 4 games, win or loss?
Sorry, one more time?
Do you subscribe to the theory that the Winnipeg Jets have played well in 4 of the last 5 games, despite not winning a lot of those games?
Well, they look good against the Stars. I will give you that. I was at the game against the Bruins, and they look good for chunks of time, but overall not good enough. So, and then they lost. Oh, Edmonton, they were terrible. The Sabres, they're okay. Yeah, I don't know. They've been up and down. They've just been spotty. The Habs, they were pretty good. Sabre, yeah. So maybe 3 out of the last 5 they were good before they won in Washington. So maybe they're turning a corner.
We'll see what happens tonight.
But they still got to get secondary scoring. In my mind, leave Scheifele and Velarde and Connor together. But those other 9 guys, you got to figure out how to put those guys in the blender and get them going. I like the lines from the last game. I liked having Lowry with Niederreiter and Iafallo. I like that.
There was some real meat and potato defense on that line.
Oh no, it was who played with Nemestikov and Perfetti? There was somebody big. Was it the Niederreiter? Or was it Barron? Somebody big. I can't remember. But anyway, yeah, you got to figure that out. Like Jonathan Toews is not the Jonathan Toews that we know. And he's great in the face-off. Great, okay. He's great on the fourth line, but he's just not scoring. He's not really pushing offensively. And it happens. It's father time, right? So, but they got to figure out how to get goals from other lines. And last game, they were able to do that, which was nice to see. So, but it wouldn't surprise me. I'm assuming, I don't know if you looked at the line rushes today, but I'm assuming they looked very similar to what they were when the Jets played.
Yeah, I'm just looking it up right now. We should see the line chart with the Jets playing in 20 minutes. What that might look like, but I think they said the Lions are pretty much the same.
As they were last game?
Yeah. Hold on. I have a media access site, but I can get the chart from. But no, I mean, aside from that, what are you expecting tonight at Ottawa?
Well, Ottawa's a good team. They've got talented players, but they've had a struggle. They're trying to figure out how to play consistently, right? I think that's their big challenge. They've got a really good goaltender. I think they.
Yeah, so it was Connor, Scheifele, Velarde.
Yep.
Nemestikov, Niederreiter, Perfetti.
Niederreiter played with Perfetti. Okay.
Lowry, Barron, Iafallo.
Yep.
Toews, Kloppy, Nyquist.
Yeah, that's what they went with last game. Yeah. Actually, Nyquist probably played, in my opinion, his best game on the fourth line. He made some really nice plays.
I did Logan Stanley. He's up to 6 goals.
And Logan Stanley. And all those Logan Stanley haters, you know who you are. My buddies.
Myself included.
Yeah, my buddies just said, get rid of that guy. And I kept telling you, you can't coach 6'7", 245 pounds with a wingspan the size of a 747. You can't coach that. You cannot.
Yeah.
And
I the other thing too is Rob brings up a really good point. How many times did the Jets get scored on in the first minute of the game?
Many times.
With Comrie and Millich and
that. I think they gave up the first goal against. Never mind the first minute. But I think they gave up the first goal against in almost every game they played.
Yeah.
Without Hellebuck, except one, maybe one or two.
Yeah, I was reading the stat too. The Jets have 2 wins when surrendering the first goal this year.
Yeah.
So there's that. There's that. I don't want to put Jets a playoff team.
As currently constructed?
Yeah, and hence I use the word playoff team.
Yes.
Wild card?
I think I picked them to be a wild card, didn't I, originally? I think I did.
Yeah.
No, I picked them third. I picked actually Minnesota as the wild card. So, but maybe that'll flip. Maybe it'll be Winnipeg wild card and Minnesota will stay in third. We'll see.
I hate to start this discussion, but I have to wonder what the future holds for Jonathan Toews.
Well, did he not sign a 1-year deal
No,
exclusively?
he did. But my question is whether he finishes the year in a Jets jersey.
Yeah, that's true. Because if the Jets are not in a playoff position come before the trade deadline, maybe somebody wants them to be on the fourth line.
No,
And
and the other thing is that I don't think Jonathan
sometime.
Toews signed up to play in the NHL on the fourth line again.
But it is what it is, right? So I don't know. It could still change. I'm not going to throw it. And I still think this is, they experimented. They signed a lot of these veterans to 1-year deals. I think, was Nyquist a 1-year deal or was it 2?
That's for the 1-year deal too.
Yeah. So, and then Kopke and Pearson, I think, were 1-year deals. So
Yeah.
they're all 1-year deals. And so you do that experiment, and then you realize, you know what you've realized, and what I think a lot of people have, including myself, is the Jets, they've lost overall team speed. And the guys that they had and kept were some of the slower guys, the guys they lost. Appleton, Tanev, and Ehlers were some of your fastest guys. And suddenly now you're getting another year older. Your team is now the oldest team in the league. That's a little bit slower. It's more of a plodding team. And in my opinion, this coming off season, no matter what happens to the Jets, whether they win the Stanley Cup or they don't, which they probably won't, but odds are against it.
Yeah.
But they need to get younger and they need to get faster and they need to bring in some young bodies. So say goodbye to those 4 veterans or 5 or whoever signed. And I don't care if it's, I don't care. Get Lambert and Chibrikov and Salmonson and Yeager and Colby Barlow in the lineup. You got to get some young legs and young bodies and skating and
What do you
speed
do if they're
practice.
not ready though?
Huh?
What do you do if they're not ready though?
They are ready. They're, because you know what they tell me when they say, oh, it's not that they're not ready, it's that they got so many guys in front of them. Good. Solve the problem. In the offseason, you lose. You unless you sign them. Nyquist is no longer under contract. Taves, Pearson, Kopke, and you bring in young bodies.
The only guy I might consider bringing back is Kopke, and the key word is might.
Yeah, because he's got speed, and you need guys to kill penalties, and he's a good penalty killer, and he brings energy. You're right, but I'm just saying, in general, I think the Jets got to get younger. They got to get faster, and they got to get younger because they got enough guys that are kind of plodding and. Yeah, they need speed. They got skill, but they don't have enough speed, in my opinion. But anyway, that's so. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean that's that. What do you think about the Jets this week? They're playing Ottawa, at St. Louis, at Colorado, at Utah.
And then that ends it before the Christmas break, right? They get a 6-day holiday over the Christmas break. Yeah, it's gonna be easy. None of those games are even close to gimmies. Even St. Louis, who probably has the worst record of those 4 teams right now, playing in St. Louis is always a challenge. Winnipeg is, for years, has had trouble winning there. Well, as we know from the playoffs last year, right?
Yeah.
It's not easy for the Jets to win.
Mind.
So those 4 games, you know what? And now with the Jets, because we don't know enough, right? We have such a small sample size, 1 game with Hellebuck back. I mean, the Jets could win those 4, or they could lose those 4. They could go 2-2. Colorado and Utah, those are going to be tough games in the mountains, elevated, thinner air. The Avalanche and the Utah are very good teams, and the Utah Mammoth are good teams. And now they're playing at home right before Christmas. It's going to be a challenge.
Yep.
I don't know. I would probably peg the Jets, thinking they'll probably go, because I think they'll win against Ottawa and probably win against St. Louis, but they could go with 2-1-1. I could see them. But again, Hellebuck could play out of his mind and they could go 4-0. Who knows? I'm interested in seeing now of a larger, these next 4 games with Hellebuck, recovering from his injury or having recovered from his injury before the Christmas break, because this last game against Washington and the next 4, I think that's a good 5-game sample size. Then we'll be able to talk then the end of the year now then with Minnesota, Edmonton, and Detroit before the new year. Then we could talk and say, well, like, what are the Jets going to look like moving forward? What kind of a team are they, right? So it's
Yeah,
still
I don't know. I don't know. It's interesting because I don't even know if 1 week changes the calculus for me.
yeah.
Just because the last month has been so inconsistent.
Yeah. And you could argue, I think somebody one of the comments was, you could argue, why does it matter who plays behind you? The point is they haven't played well in front of the goalie, whether that's Hellebuck or anybody else, which is true.
But they did
Which
it
is
on
actually true.
Saturday and they did it on Thursday
Yeah.
or Tuesday. But this team, when they want to, can play some very good defense.
Yeah.
They're here and there whether they want to do it every day.
Yeah. Well, one of the keys for tonight for Ottawa, just having a look, I looked at some stats before the show, and the Sens have a very good power play. I think it's in the top 10, may even be the top 5 in the league. So with Giroux there, you're quarterbacking things. You don't want to give Ottawa penalties. You want to be able to skate with them, play smart, play well defensively, use your body positioning, but you don't want to take penalties. So
yeah, but betters can't be choosers. Hey, don't want to pitch. Just played their best game of the season against Washington, and now I think the $1 million question is how do they follow it up?
yeah.
Anything else jumping out of the National Hockey League for you?
It's a shame. A lot of guys just got injured in the last few weeks, eh? Like Bedard.
Bedard was the freaky one of the two because
Yeah.
you have that, and you tell them to tie the center up off the faceoff every single time, and it just happens to fall hard on his shoulder. And
yeah, but just like some really good players for their teams, like not even necessarily superstars, but Holloway for the Blues. He was removed off the ice yesterday with a lower body injury. Elias Pettersson has moved to the injured reserve, so he's gone for a while. Now they say, oh, here I'm reading Holloway's out 6 weeks with a lower body injury.
Yeah,
like there's some.
That'll really be like more, right? Because of the Olympic break.
Yeah, I think it's just more games getting squished into a smaller amount of time. That's probably a factor to some degree, but everybody's going through it, right? It's not like, well, excuse me, our schedule is harder than somebody else's. I mean, yeah, it's.
Can I just address something here?
What's that?
This is not just a comment that I've seen from Rob. I've seen it everywhere in the last 2 days. I want to make something abundantly clear, and I'm not yelling at you per se when I say this. The player does not come back unless he is 100% healthy. The player, the trainer, the agents, the general manager, everybody agrees to sign off that the player is good to go. This notion of bringing Hellebuyck back too soon is very, very poor. And I haven't just seen it from Rob. I've seen it everywhere. Yeah, they're bringing him back too soon. They're bringing him back too soon. Well, they're not going to jeopardize what they have invested in their best player to bring him back early. I know that for a fact.
Exactly. And folks may not realize he had 5 full practice, full shots, full contact, like regular jersey for 5 practices, 5 ice times before playing on Saturday night, right? Like, it's not like he just, oh, I feel good. I was in the shower this morning and stretched a little bit and then went on the, on the elliptical and I loosened up and now I'm good to go. Like, he was in the net. He was making saves. Flaherty was right there talking with him. How do you feel? Like, I saw some of the footage. He would he was working on one-timers. Pucks were going across the slot, and guys were taking one-timers, and he's making saves. And Flaherty comes up because he's dropping his, to the butterfly, so it's on his hip. That he's up again, up and down his hip. He's asking, "How's it going? What are you feeling?" You're talking about.
Yeah.
So they worked through all that. They know he's not going to put his team in jeopardy and come back at 50% and risk re-injuring himself and not being at 100%
for the
cause
Olympics.
a whole bunch of goals to go in, right? I mean, it's the NHL. It's not Sunday afternoon hockey at the park or whatever,
right?
Or at the community club.
So, a couple of twit hitters on the way out, just for my information.
Yep.
More than DT on Team Canada.
Yeah, he scored a lot of goals. In my mind, if you're asking me who should be on there, I would put Tom Wilson and Mark Scheifele on there before I'd put Morgan Geekie.
Correct. Okay, that's fair. Who are you taking off to put Scheifele on there?
Oh, you're saying from the Four Nations Cup roster?
Yeah. So if we use the Four Nations as a barometer, who's coming off?
See, I can't remember all the names of the four.
Mark Stone is coming off for me.
What's that?
Mark Stone.
Well, Mark Stone is injured now, isn't he?
Yeah, I know, but I'm saying Mark Stone should come off that team.
Mark Stone, I would take off. Yeah. I wouldn't take off the two Pauls from the Panthers.
Yep.
Those guys stay. I mean, Crosby, obviously. McKinnon.
Morrissey staying.
Yeah, well, as a defenseman, yeah. See, I can't remember who played on the third and fourth line. I'm trying to remember. I know one of them was Stone, but I can't remember. You should look up the Four Nations roster on the internet.
That's what I'm doing.
There you go. But in my mind, just when I look at Scheifele scoring at 1.3 points per game, he could play. He's not going to play in the first two lines because he's just not going to bump out one of the guys that are there. But does he deserve a right to, or a chance to play on the third line? I think so. He's good defensively. If you, all those guys, now you play against the world's best. It's the Olympics. You're going to sacrifice. You're not going to take shortcuts for offense. You're not going to let your teammates down. Yes, sir.
Sorry, Mitch Marner is the other forward that comes off for me.
And so who are the third line and fourth line guys from the Four Nations?
All right, so Brandon Hagel, Anthony Cirelli, Mitch Marner, Brad Marchand, Sam Bennett, Seth Jarvis.
Yes, I would take Cirelli off that lineup too. In my opinion, I would put Scheifele on there, and I would put Tom Wilson. You've got to have some you got to have some.
So how would you feel about this? Mark Stone, Tyler McDavid, Braden Point, Sidney Crosby, Nathan McKinnon, Sam Reinhart, Brandon Hagel, Mark Scheifele, Tom Wilson, Brad Marchand, Sam Bennett, Seth Jarvis.
As your fourth line?
Yeah.
Yeah. And you can move guys around too, right? Like,
and then your deep pairs will be Devontae, Dale McCarr, Travis Sanheim, Colton Parayko, Thomas Harley, Drew Doughty. Guys, I'm not sure about it, to be honest. Travis Sanheim, Colton Parayko, Thomas Harley, Drew Doughty.
What about the Josh Morrissey you didn't mention?
Sorry, this was the lineup in the game, but Josh Morrissey did not play.
Oh, right, because he was injured. That's right.
Right, so he was set.
Right.
So maybe you're looking at Devontae, Taylor McCarr, Josh Morrissey, Colton Parayko, Travis Sanheim, Drew Doughty.
Yeah, Sanheim and Doughty or something, yeah. Or Harley and Doughty. But yeah. I don't know. I would just some of those guys, they've not had the years that they've had. You want to take guys that are kind of having good years now. And yes, you could argue like a guy like Marchand, he's old, he's 36, he's 37, but you know what? He's a gamer. When games are like this, when he plays for his country, you want guys that raise their level, right? And guys like Scheifele, they're like that. Scheifele cares about playing for his country. He'll raise his game. That's why Sidney Crosby is so good in those games, because he raises his game. Connor McDavid raises his game. As great as they are, they find another gear and they push it to a different level. especially at that lane. I think Marchand is the same way. So that's why I
Here's-
would not take Marchand off that roster.
Here's another variation of the lineup that I like.
What's that?
And this is currently on the score, but this is something close.
Okay.
You ready for this?
I'm waiting.
Connor Bedard centering Braden Hagel and Braden Point. Nathan McKinnon centering Sidney Crosby, Sam Reinhart. Nick Suzuki centering Matt Celebrini and Mitch Marner. Anthony Cirilli centering Rob Marchand and Mark Stone. Extra to Seth Jarvis and Tom Wilson.
Connor McDavid is not in there.
And that is correct. Oh, yeah. No. Hagel with McDavid and Point. I said that.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Has Hagel had that good a year? Points had a good year. I'm not sure about Hagel. I'm not sure about Cirelli.
Here's the thing, though. To me, there's too much Tampa Bay flavor on this team.
Yeah, but who's the head coach at Team Canada?
Cooper.
Yeah, surprise, surprise. I mean, he knows them, right? They're not bad picks. It's just, do you want a good pick or do you want a great pick? And you can't pick the exact same team you picked for Four Nations, even though they won. That's great because guys are injured. Guys are not at the top of their game. Guys are maybe coming back. There's going to be injuries. Like, is there an ability to name 2 or 3 extra guys that if guys go on injured reserve before the tournament, you could still bring these other guys along? Yeah. Eh? Like, if you name your team now on December 31st.
You have replacements, yes.
Yes, you've got replaced. Okay. So I'm just saying stuff can happen. Guys can get injured between December 31st and when do the Olympics start? February 5th or whatever it is. 14, yeah. That's like a month. That's like 5 weeks between 5.5 weeks between when
my goalies right now, Rhett, will be Jordan Binnington, Logan Thompson, and Darcy Kemper.
Okay, you're going to go back to Binnington, eh?
I didn't say Binnington starts. I said he's on the team.
No, he just said but you're going to go back to Binnington, like on that 3
goalie rotation. I said Binnington, Thompson, and Kemper would be my goalie in no particular order.
Okay.
Probably, if I'm coaching Team Canada, Logan Thompson is my starter.
Okay.
Or?
So who have you left off that? You've left
Mackenzie
Jarry off that list.
Mackenzie Blackwood, Aiden Hill,
Tristan Jarry.
Tristan Jarry.
I look at Wedgwood.
In Colorado?
Yep.
He's on this projected roster, but he's not on mine.
Yeah. I don't know.
This projected roster for the score has Binnington, Thompson, and Wedgwood.
Okay. And Binnington and Thompson.
I mean, honestly, it speaks to a broader goaltending issue in Canada.
Well, you got a lot of good
goalies. Look at the Americans, and they have the option between Hellebuck, Swayman, and Ottinger. Like, to me, you can't go wrong there.
Yeah, but who won last time?
Canada.
You don't need your goalie to be great. You just need him to be good. And guys can raise their game, right? But
it's interesting. I've never seen so much consternation on the women's hockey side about the state of Canadian hockey being in such crisis after the Canadians looked awful in 4 games against the Americans.
Yeah, it happens. Americans got 9 to 10 times the size of pool to draw from. Mind you, the whole country.
Let's also remind people, the last time the Americans won the rivalry series in the Olympic year, they did not win the Olympic gold medal. I still like Canada in the 1 game against the Americans to win gold.
Okay. We'll see.
Oh, we'll see. Anyway, that's it for this week's show. Reminder, Rick, tonight's game is on Amazon Prime, as is next week. I think the Jets are on Prime, actually, 2 weeks from now. Coming out of the Christmas break, they play Minnesota, then they play the Oilers. Oilers game is on Prime. So, everything else, Sportsnet has the game on Wednesday. TSN has the game in Colorado and the game in Utah Friday, Sunday.
I think the Jets are going to go with I'm gonna go 3-1.
I agree. I didn't say lose the game in Colorado, win the rest of them.
Yeah.
But
So
okay,
right.
on behalf of Brett Petty, this is Vital Down saying thank you so much for watching. Great debate, great discussion, great content. Love it when the show kind of plans itself out over a week. Perfect. These are my dream shows. General managers, give us more news, please.
Yes.
We'll be back next week.
Make things happen.
Next week will be quieter though with the roster freeze hitting in
Mhm.
end of this week for the holidays. For Red Petty, Michael Dell saying so long. We will see you next Monday. Last time before Santa comes. We'll be right back. We'll be back next Monday, dear night, here on the Game Time Facebook page.